Six.
7:37 in Trinidad and Tobago. Time for a little business breakfast because TSL Executive Chairman Nicholas Gold has been elected Chairman of the Association of American Chambers of Commerce of Latin America and the Caribbean. It's a long acronym, but you get the sense of what we're talking about. According to the Chamber of Trinidad and Tobago, by the way, the American Chamber and TNT, this is a significant accomplishment for Trinidad and Tobago. The organization is the most influential voice of U.S. business in Latin America and the Caribbean, representing more than 20,000 companies and over 80% of U.S. investment in the region. Mr. Gold joins us this morning. Very good morning to you, sir.
Thank you
for being on the program. Congratulations on your appointment. Took effect last week. Runs for a year in the first instance. Is this a challenge that you're looking forward to?
I've been looking forward to this challenge for about the last 11 years.
Why?
I actually joined the ACLA. My intention was really and truly to deliver services into the U.S. from the Caribbean islands, because the way that we actually trade has changed from trading goods to trading services.
Yes.
But our agreement with the U.S. does not allow us to provide services into the U.S. So my intention when I started about 11 years ago on this journey was to visit Congress, to knock on Congress doors, which I do every single year, trying to get, we have some folks up there to look after us in the Caribbean, like Charlie Rankel.
Right.
Trying to get them to...
Do we have a voice? Because we talk about lobbying, we talk about lobbyists. Do we in the Caribbean, we are seen as such a small, insignificant, population-wise, economy-wise. Do we really have a voice at the level of Congress in the USA? We
had a voice, I'd say, in the past. What has happened since then, though, is the countries of the Caribbean have not come together to really create a lobbying group in Washington. We have in Washington right now our ambassador to Washington, who is Dr. Neil Parsan, who is also ambassador to the OES and to Mexico. And I must say he's doing a tremendous job. He's trying to muster support for the Caribbean, so you find he's always on the Hill, meeting with people. I believe the Ambassador Albert Ramden is also very instrumental, even though he is the Assistant Secretary General of the OAS. So I'd say we have a voice. We don't have a voice as loud as we want it to be, and we also have a voice now through ACLA. ACLA is the sister organization of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, and I've been pushing a Caribbean agenda for several years. We got DR CAFTA through, we got Chile, U.S., we got Panama, and we got Colombia through about a year and a half ago. And I've gotten ACLA to agree to really focus on the Caribbean from here on and to see how we can move the Caribbean ahead. And now that you've reached, I wouldn't say the summit, because life is a journey in many respects. You've reached this point after 11 years. What have you identified as your priorities that you would like to achieve, certainly in the first year at the head of this organization? Two challenges that I've set for myself. The first challenge is to actually bring the relevance of ACLA into the American chambers. There are 24 American Chambers of Commerce in the region. And as you said just now, we represent something like 20,000 or more than 20,000 businesses. The thing is that we each operate in our own country. We get together 3 times a year. Instead of us exchanging information and moving people freely into different parts of Latin America, for example, the AmCham in Trinidad and Tobago should be the artery that should be used for anybody who wants to get into Central America and South America. I use it all the time. So people I meet with, I would call an AmCham in that country and set up meetings and head across, and vice versa. My intention is to try and make it more relevant by actually including different countries in our publications, which are done monthly, and vice versa in other countries as well. That's my first challenge. Yeah. My second challenge, really and truly, is the whole services initiative. Trying to get the US to allow, not an extension of the CBI, because the CBI itself is a one-way agreement, is a preferential agreement between the US and ourselves. We need a new agreement that will allow us to have almost like a trade and services agreement that is taking place right now in the Trans-Pacific area and so forth. If we can get that in place, then we, as a people, and I don't mean just Trinidad and Tobago, I mean the Caribbean, can start to provide services such as financial services, tourism services, ICT services. But does that become a two-way arrangement where, where we could actually suffer because of the US or other economies of scale, where they could get into our markets and actually run us out of business? Well, think about it right now. If you look at ICT, and you look at government, you look at state enterprises, you look at large corporates, we look towards the US and Europe to have consultants come inside here to tell us what to do. So that's been going on for a long time. So in my field, which is ICT, I want to be able to have that reciprocity to be able to go into the US and provide those services. In my group, we have 200 and something people, which comprise employees in Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, some of the small islands. And we provide services throughout the entire Caribbean. I want to get into the US market. We are well priced to get inside there. We are as knowledgeable as anybody else is in the US. And there are huge possibilities for us to get into services.
But Mr. Gault, is everybody else, well, the majority of businesses, are they ready for that sort of relationship, that sort of two-way relationship where it's not just about preferential treatment for us, but also easier access for the United States to our markets?
Trade and free trade is good. And I'll give you some examples to back up that statement. When Chile and the US signed an agreement in 2004, Chile was exporting to the US 2.9 billion US dollars in goods. The US is exporting to Chile 3.9 billion US dollars. So you had a huge amount coming in on one side. Actually, I lied. It was a reverse. 3.9 from Chile, the US, 2.9.
Right. Okay. So
in 2012, that number jumped to 9.6 billion from Chile to the US, but 18.6 billion from the US to Chile.
Yeah.
Yet Chile's economy has mushroomed, has blossomed. If you look at Panama and see what's happening in Panama with year-over-year growth of 9%, I was having breakfast with President Martinelli last week, and he's actually opened up Panama. Anybody who wants to go into Panama to live, he has an open arm welcome to come inside. Any businesses you want to set up, you can do it. Why? Because he sees the growth of Panama based on the resources that he can attract. Competition is good. If you look at me as an organization, our group, the only way that we actually can find ourselves improving what we do is to have good competition. So I welcome the competition.
And when we talk about Latin America, we have this vast nation, vast conglomeration of nations that is South America. In the Caribbean, are we seeing more and more movement southwards rather than this north type of relationship that we've been having for a number of years?
I would say yes. I've seen companies in different countries enter into trade. Unfortunately, all I have to relate to would be the Caribbean islands,
yes,
because South America and Central America have been trading among themselves for some time. From the standpoint of north going south and south going north, that's real, that exists. There's a tremendous amount of trade that's going both ways. From our standpoint, the way I see that we need to go is, we have the US that we've been blocked off to. We can go into South America right now, and that could be our playground, and you have a much, much larger community over there than you have in the US.
Yeah.
Biggest problem, of course, is language.
Yeah.
Not necessarily culture, because you can get partners on the ground who understand the culture and then you interrelate with them.
Is that a disappointing thing for you from not just a business perspective, but the fact that we're essentially 7 miles away from the South American mainland, and Spanish is not almost a second language in Trinidad and Tobago?
Very disappointing. I wish I had studied hard at school, but I pick up because I'm inside these communities every single year, quite a few times a year, and I'm right now learning Spanish.
And are there really business opportunities for us in Trinidad and Tobago in those markets, or are we drowned out by the Mexicos and the United States and Canada and so on? But again, they're larger business structures and economies of scale.
I'll give you some examples for that. If you look at Guatemala, I went across the Business Future of the Americas conference in Guatemala in June. While there, I met an organization in ICT. What we do in Trinidad and Tobago is so much more than what they do, and they're highly recognized. We are actively engaged in pursuing a relationship for us to provide services into Guatemala. Now that's one. If you look at Mexico and think how large Mexico is, and you know how much of the manufacturing has gone to China, I'm not sure if you're aware of the fact that China right now is going towards Mexico to have Mexico start to manufacture goods for China because of the huge costs that have increased in China.
Yeah.
I think the middle class now is like something like about 300 million people in China who have become into the middle class.
Yes.
So Mexico always has a requirement for somebody else. Every country has a requirement for some other country. Once you can establish what the advantages are that you have from a competitive standpoint, there's opportunities everywhere.
We have to take a quick break, but we'll continue our discussion for another few minutes. So with Nicholas Gault, the new head of the AACCLA and Latin America and the Caribbean. We'll get back to what that means when we come back right after this very quick break.